Hi, everybody. I'm that girl goddess, and I want to talk about when is enough enough in a relationship? When do it comes to a time that you should divorce? I tell people sometimes we go through trials and tribulations, and God is testing us, the devil's attacking us, and you got to be built strong for marriage because the devil hate marriage, so he's always coming after a marriage to destroy it. One reason. One can chase 1,000 and two 10,000. And even more if it depends on your rank. But we just talking about the bare minimum. So the devil ain't liking that at all. Okay. He's not liking that. But then I know like if you get cheated in the Bible say you can divorce on the grounds of death or adultery. And sometimes you get a divorce because someone cheated. Someone made an outside child. A lot of couples can get past and forgive cheating. They can get past an outside child. It depends what you've been through or how strong is your love or mature is your love. You know, Sometimes circumstances in life, back in the day, everybody said their grandparents' day, great grandparents' day, they stayed together 40, 50 years because if they got pregnant back then, they was forced to get married. Okay. They had shotgun weddings. When nobody planned, somebody got their daughter pregnant and think they gonna run. Okay. And they got married. It was frowned upon. And they knew the importance of having the family together. They had a lot of things, especially people of color, because of slavery and trying to come out of slavery. Women, they wasn't given the right to work many jobs, and they had a it was a thing that they had to stand together to fight to even succeed. And at that stage everybody was in church. Okay. The norm was living according to the word of God. I don't know how this generation got so jacked up, but I know God prophesied about it. But we're going to get back to marriage. People didn't respect women and families who didn't have a father, who wasn't married. That wasn't a common thing. Then they frowned upon it. And society was better because it was more structured. You was expected to go home. Even if you was a out cold man who loved a juke joint, when your spouse ain't with you, you didn't run out to the juke joint like that. You went home. When you got off of work, you was tired, you went home. She had your bath water ran. She made the children go somewhere and sit down and be quiet and go in their rooms and play or entertain themselves and study and make sure y'all pass so y'all can get to another level in life, because a lot of them didn't have their high school diploma, and they made sure that you got yours. Okay? So you can do better in life. They had morals, thing called due benevolence in the Bible that a man's supposed to give a woman, which is due honor and due respect. The same way a woman is supposed to give honor her spouse, her husband. Okay, when God created marriage, yes, the man is the leader if he's following God. Following God, meaning God being the head, then God trickles down to the man to lead in the household, and he holds him accountable for the household. Somewhere you had these feminist groups come out. I don't know. They say in the 60s. I don't know. I know they was out in the 70s and the 80s. And these feminists try to act like they was fighting for women rights, and a lot of women joined them. And then along the way, we found out that these women were in the alphabet crew, And they didn't, everything they fought for was to challenge the man, not to really be married, not to have a family with the father in the household. If you wanted public assistance, the man couldn't be in the household. The woman had to go out there, and that's when they opened doors for women to really work, when these feminists got started, because it was, and I hate to say it, a gay agenda. The devil works in high places, and they pushed these things and said they wasn't going to add financial support if the woman had a husband. And even though they was prejudiced back then, it was hard for men, a lot of men, to have steady work to care for the family. Birth control pills wasn't out, so children sometimes was born randomly in the household. Wasn't planned, because they had no way of really keeping children away. Then they chose Caucasian women over women of color for jobs. And a lot of them, they was educated. So a woman of color who didn't have the money for schooling or anything had a much harder fight to find a job. And they was just coming out of slavery, so they looked down on them, and they didn't really want to employ them. So it was a necessity for the woman to keep the man in the household. And they was grateful that he stood. But now when they got jobs, they started to look down on their spouse. So they didn't want to stay in the household. And I'm not saying these men were 100%. A lot of them was abused. A lot of women had to stay in bad situations. Okay? Because when a man come home, they frustrated. And especially men of color, and I'm going to say African American men or African men, is a part of a lot of their cultures, and they are abusive. They got DV going on. And a lot of these women endured a lot of this due to their frustration being put down and looked down upon. They took it out on their family a lot of times. And a lot of women yearn to get away from them. That's to be honest. Even though they knew how important the strength of a man is, they knew they had to be healthy too. So they made a lot of choices, and a lot of men was like, yeah, I like it when the woman was barefoot and pregnant, because a lot of men who say that, they are very abusive. I'm not talking about, because you got a lot of foolish women out here. I seen one woman, she was living with her man, and she had a child by the man, and the man had his son living with him. She refused to wash his clothes. And I said, what kind of foolery is this? She told me, I'm going to wash my son clothes. And I said, woo-wee. I looked at the man, you need to put her out. And see, that's the foolishness I talk about females. Because she get with another man who ain't trying to help her. She be living in her house as a single mom, and he made to pay child support. Okay? But he had let her stay with him, and he keeping a roof over their head, and she can't wash his son clothes. They were little children. How do you take out stuff on children? I don't understand. Okay? And that's the foolishness when men, you choose the wrong type of woman. That's neither here or there though. Because this video is about when is enough to divorce a man. Now, I know there's relationships outside of marriage. I don't really comment too much on that, because if you're not married, you're single. All these fatal attractions run around want to control somebody and keep somebody in sin and make them miserable. If a person want to be married, they deserve to be married. Marriage is work, just like relationships is work. They want to keep you in sin and you be engaged 5 years. I don't see it. If you know somebody by the 3rd month in the relationship, you need to be making the decision, do you want to spend your life with this person? Do 6 months, that's when you need to announce the marriage or go ahead and get married. Because, see, mostly in biblical days, it was 30 days. You dated that person, there was no intimacy between y'all like that. You know what I'm saying? No ex. And you got married in 30 days. It was a shame if you didn't. Men know. Trust me. The Spirit of God is in everybody, and He's going to let you know. People say, well, we got to see if we agree. You'll know in them 3 months y'all dating, or a month or two, you need to ask the hard questions. See, are you compatible? Do you agree on how you raise your children? Money, this, and that. And then when you get to that point you're married, when is enough enough? Because we got some great actors out here. Before you get divorced. Now with me, if it come down to DV, they going pow pow on you. You need to leave. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. For me, especially in a world where we have incurable, if they're cheating, I'm out. I'm not gonna lie. People be like, well, you don't love this person. Cheating, accepting someone cheat on you is not love. Sometimes you have to deal with it because you're in a bad position. You lost your job, you live with them, and you okay, you got to get a plan to get out of there. But staying with someone who can infect you is not the thing. Because we all know a lot of men turn over and they going to go ahead and do what they do on an intimate level. You look up, you didn't even agree to sleep with them, and you infected. And then they want to look at you like, oh. And then usually when they do that to you, most of them leave. According to statistics, they don't build no relationship with you after they did that to you. They don't want to look at you and know that they are the cause of your shame and your pain. And a lot of people don't want to be accountable for what they do. They little boys acting like adults, trying to act like an adult, but don't make adult decisions and have no sense of loyalty. Okay? Because even if you was in them streets, you should keep a cap on that soldier. I'm sorry. That's what you need to do. You don't need to do anything that can bring harm to yourself or nobody else out in them streets, including making children. And trust me, when them women in the street, they know when to stop taking their birth control pills and everything else, and when they breeding days and they go get pregnant on purpose, okay? And then they be playing all sweet and innocent until you get them pregnant. And after that baby get there, oh, they hell to deal with. Okay? To me, that's you need to divorce. But if you ain't dealing with cheating and DV and stuff, when is enough for you to divorce? Because sometimes, yeah, you can grow and y'all not communicating well. Sometimes people don't keep the communication going. They don't talk to each other, so they don't grow together. They don't spend quality time with each other. And you want to know what happens? They tend to grow apart. They begin to forget how to communicate with one another. And that's a direct attack of the enemy. You get married, one's working during the day, one's working at night. Jobs don't want to hire spouses. And the reason they don't, because they get to arguing on the job site. Okay? A lot of men, they just like to act a fool. But I ain't going to even put it just on the men. They so jealous a man can walk by, you can just look up and they you disrespecting me. And females do and get to acting a fool. I done seen it. You know, they too immature to be in a adult relational, okay, ship. Because they are literally knowing you on the job with all these different individuals, and before they met you, they picked you out of a crowd. A lot of people of the opposite sex was around and they wasn't acting like this. But once you get married or in a relationship, they get to clowning. And that's the devil's way of making you lose your finances and come up with foolish stuff. Did you know jealousy is considered a form of insanity? And when you take anything to extremes, you know it's demonic. Okay? It's one thing you see your spouse smiling and talking to some female and you feel uncomfortable. That don't mean you're jealous of the female. It just means you feel uncomfortable. And your antennas is going up. Is this an opening for the enemy to come in? Because it start with light work things that seem like nothing. Okay? If you don't have proper communication, you and your spouse are not looking at each other saying, okay, when you see stuff looking too friendly, you know, when you talk to someone, you need to mention your spouse right off. Well, my wife is so sweet to me. I can't hardly wait to get home. I know she waiting on me because when we get home, we get busy. You know, you make a reference to that you're fine at home, regardless to what's going on in your household. The devil send people to you. And you, when you decide to be married, you have to make a decision to shut things down. Trust me, and I'm gonna tell you this, because me and my spouse was arguing, and let me tell you something. Men came out of the woodwork. I said, well, you know what? I don't even feel this. And when I said this, I noticed. God said, look, the week prior to us getting into it, all these different men started chasing me. Men from out of state was in my messenger box. And when I say men on top of men, talking about when you busy, leave your number. You know, they can call you off social media, Facebook. You know, I blocked a lot of people from doing it, especially if I accepted a man friend request, I immediately go into my inbox and block them. On TikTok, I shut that down too. Because social media is not a dating app. Now, if you're on Facebook dating app, then yeah, you can talk to people. But all that other little crazy stuff these desperate men be doing and trying to finesse people, I ain't got time for games. Tricks are for kids. Okay? And more than likely, if you meet somebody off an app like Facebook and all of this, I guarantee you they have a history of being with a lot of different people off of Facebook or different social media sites. That's not even what Facebook was designed for. Now, if you in a dating app, I don't care if it's Tinder. I don't know no other dating app. I just heard that one recently. But you on a dating app. And the one thing I hate is when people get on social media and to my hey beautiful, you get all these desperate weirdos, con artists in your inbox. And I politely tell them, please stay out my inbox. Okay? That's another sign, a door you have to shut down when you're married. You can't just have people randomly. Now, if you knew this person, y'all went to school together and y'all been close all these years and you got married and they talk to you in your inbox and know the family and everything, that's one thing. Okay? But it is another to have strange people. I thought you was just beautiful. I just tell them, I'm glad you felt like that. Thank you. But guess what? This is not a dating app, and this is neither here or there. Stay out my inbox. Appreciate the compliment. Please don't do it no more. But if you follow my page, you know I'm married. Stay out my inbox. Number one. And if you know you're on my social media page, it's not a dating app. Stay out my inbox. I check people fast, raw. I don't care. Because I respect marital vows before God. I'm not going to hell because I'm doing random stuff on people that the enemy then sent just to bring down destroy my marriage. And I made a vow to the Lord. A marriage is a vow. You made a vow to him, and he said, defer not to pay it. And yes, he will release some whoop butt on you when you don't divorce on the right terms. And even if you're on the right terms, you still got to go to him in prayer and ask for guidance and look for the healing of the marriage, because he's going to test your ability to forgive as well. Okay? But that's neither here or there. And I just heard the Spirit of God say, you divorce when I say divorce. And he hates divorce, but he knows all. That's what I just heard. Woo. Woo. And because you asked me, I guess the next question is, when do you separate? Now, if your life is in danger, separate. Separate. And it's hard to separate because, see, that's why I'm going to tell a lot of people, pray about these marriages, because some of these people are mental health. And a lot of people come up unalive trying to get away from a fool. They don't want to act right in the marriage and then don't want you to leave it. They just think you should just be that person they abusive to. But see, you have to look at warning signs too. I mean, God told me to marry who I married, but guess what? He told me I was going to have certain seasonal marriages before the last one. And, you know, I tell people each one taught me something. But I tell anybody, look, you got to ask God for warning signs still. Because some of these people are mental health out here. You end up getting married to these people and they is loony. You'll meet a man, get married, he work every day, pull 2 jobs. Soon as you get married, that man will quit his job, won't go to work, tear up stuff in the house. Okay? Just completely switch overnight. Some men resent the fact that they gotta be men and they gotta hold down a job. Okay? They want something for nothing. You out there working 2 and 3 jobs and they don't want to work one. Then when they work it, you find out they have a gambling problem. They have a problems with addiction. They was clean to a certain point. You know, while y'all was dating, I done seen men be clean, and then soon as y'all hook up, here come they wanna, oh, I'm just having an occasional beer, and you be like, oh, who cares? Next thing you know, they not just drinking beer. They at the club. They drink from the time they get up to the time they go to bed. I done seen this. Then it turns to alcohol, whiskey. They drinking tequila and Don Q and even the cheap stuff, Erkin Jerkin, Hennessy, and gin and juice, and that's every day, all day. Then they want to add in the other trees where it's legal in certain states. In a lot of states they doing it, they ain't legal. We know this. But they want to do that from the time to get up to the time to go to bed, because a lot of these people that manufacture this stuff for the new school, they is growing that stuff with other stuff in it, with fentanyl and all that other stuff. And it's highly addictive. And you'll see, because I used to ask, well, why are these people chasing? And chasing means, like, if you're on drugs, like hard drugs, you can't go to work because you got to stand there and wait till you possibly see somebody to get a hit. Your whole life is sitting around waiting, walking the street, trying to make money just to get that. You're chasing that dragon. And I was like, well, if they just smoking this, you know, and that's legal in certain states, why are they chasing? And then I took a class on it. And I found out they was putting stuff in the soil. And it made that stuff highly addictive. They had a lot of ways they was doing it, but it was highly addictive. And I thank God I was not a person to ever want to do recreational drugs on no you can't pay me. Don't give me $1 million. I ain't gonna do it. I don't like it. I don't see it because I don't like stuff playing with my mind. People talking about they tripping. And I tried it that time. And I got to laughing for about 4 hours. And when it finally was over, I told everybody, I said, I'm making a decision. Don't ever give me none of that. Because my brain is precious. I'm not floating. I'm dead. My feet are dead on the ground. I was intimate with somebody telling me I'm floating. Baby, it felt like 500 pounds of dead weight. Get out of here. Whatever is messing with your mind that you believe something that foolish, I don't want no part of it. It ain't funny when something that took over your brain that you cannot make intelligent decisions. You can't hold an intelligent conversation. You tripping and giggling, and I don't like demons. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to play with them. I don't like them. I don't think the stuff they do is funny. Okay? It's just sick to me. Even I meet God and our people, and and I tell everybody, we all was born with some demons, and we was born in sin, shaped in iniquity. Iniquity is that demon that got you in control, them strongholds. Let me tell you something. And the demons that chase your family. I don't like the demons that chase my family, seen in my family, and I looked at my father, and he in entertainment, and he's on the hard drugs. Okay? And perversion everywhere. He went that way. His career was already established in entertainment. I went the opposite way. I don't want to be bothered. I don't talk to him either. Don't want to be bothered. Ain't angry at him. Don't want to be bothered. Too old to be a disgrace. He ain't fighting no generation curses off of me. Okay? I just don't want to be bothered. I ran to Jesus, put my life on the thing. I'll try not to open up doors and invite in demons, lust spirit. See everybody they always talk about lust spirit. They always talking about it being about intimacy. Okay, I know that's not my problem because I refuse to let something like that, few minutes of pleasure, have me stupid. I got to go to work. I got to pay bills. There's things I want in society. When you get through having X, you get up the next morning, you go to work, or you go to work later on that night. I ain't got time for stupidity. Ain't nobody worth me laying down with, and I have an open portal to Satan himself. Nope, you ain't worth it. Bye. I don't care. That's despicable. It's sick and it's twisted. I chose Jesus. I don't want Satan. I don't want what's of Satan. I don't want the wealth of the wicked for Satan. I'm just letting you know. I have that. When it comes to getting married, if you part of that clan, I'll be like, no, boo, you the wrong one. I'm playing with my soul. I don't like witches. I don't like warlocks. No. And don't want them. I like nice things. And you ain't going to tell me you walking around one with Satan And I know he only going to use you to kill, steal, and destroy, cause confusion and chaos and childishness and all these other demons. And you're just a portal for him to attack me through. You're not going to tell me that we have something in common. We don't. I don't want to be in a war zone over someone who's an open portal to the devil. Because I tell people, the devil can be attractive, but I'm not attracted to him. And people say everybody's attracted. No, everybody is not. I'm attracted to love. I'm attracted to intelligence. And when you tell me I'd rather do all this stuff for this person for the wealth of the wicked for a season, have big money to go to hell, I'd be like, man, bad. Hell is eternity. I don't like dealing with a little minor confusion from day to day. So I know that I ain't built for it. I'm not built for hell. No, ma'am, no, sir. So, in my opinion, when is enough enough? When you're with someone and they are open portal to the devil. And I tell people, when you meet them type of people, you need to shut that down in the beginning if you're a Christian. Because them people don't care. They go to your job, cause you to lose your job. They will destroy your life. They don't have love in them. They chase the wealth of the wicked, popularity, fame. They chase those things. A spiritual talent. They don't care about how you feel, loving you, or anything like that. They don't have the morals of God. So when is it time to separate? When that person, because you can marry somebody and they can be saved, decides they don't want to serve God no more. That's a reason to walk away. Even if it hurt. But know that when they gave up God, you're going to find another being, and it ain't human, operating in them. And it comes to kill, steal, and destroy. It comes to put you in bondage, chaos, confusion. That spirit will strip you, use you, okay? Put diseases and disorders will rise up in your body from nowhere. It's not my choice. But that's when enough is enough for me. You choose to serve the devil, bye. My heart gonna hurt, but God can heal. But trust me, I done seen people who stood through situation like that. A couple came unalive that I knew. But it was always a horrendous, horrific life experience that they all experienced. And when I say it was horrible, it was horrible. And they was stuck in it for about 5-7 years trying to get away from that person once they decided to stay. So when is it too much for me? When somebody's addiction has overthrown them. When someone is chronically cheating, because that person they cheating with, and trust me, they gonna be demonic, is fighting you through them. That's why God give you the right to divorce on the grounds of adultery. On the grounds of death, they didn't chose another Godhead. When them demons come after you, to me, that's when enough is enough. It's time to separate. I'm going to bring this video to a close. I started off asking the question, when is enough enough and when should you divorce? And I was thinking about you grew apart, irreconcilable, placeable differences. I was thinking about somewhere along that line till God spoke to me while I was doing the video. And I thank him. Irreconcilable differences. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He's been helping me. He helps me in all areas. I can't do anything without him. But thank you, very vocal with me today. Yes, he's very vocal with me today, and I thank him. But as I was saying, I'm bringing this video to a close. And some of the things I was thinking there's need to separate, and I just heard him say, sometimes people have too much pride to heal, to admit what they're wrong, won't hold themselves accountable. And we all know the enemy biggest problem was pride. But I'm gonna let this video end right here. Leave your comments. It's okay to even disagree with me. You know, I just like to hear it, talk to people, talk back. That's the reason I did this page. But y'all be blessed. I'm that girl goddess. Bye. Like, please, share, and subscribe.